My name is Andrew Ritchie, and I am the IT Business Manager of Operations. The IT Operations team incorporates our service desk, our service delivery team, our CMDB team, and our technology applications team. And that technology application team supports and enhances our ServiceNow platform.
Speaking of ServiceNow, could you tell us more about Officeworks' journey in using the ServiceNow platform? How long has your Officeworks been using ServiceNow?
Sure. So we've been using ServiceNow for at least 10 years. Been a long time from the early adoption in the ITSM space.
And what sort of ServiceNow applications does Officeworks use?
I always tell people it's easier to say what we don't use in the platform. But at a really high level, we use ITSM, ITOM, IT business management, security, integrated risk, facilities management, and several sort of bespoke case management solutions.
That's quite a lot. So through that 10 years, did you start with one application and started to expand, or did you guys just started to use the environment with all the applications that's provided by ServiceNow?
So we've been using ITSM ever since we first introduced ServiceNow. About 3 years ago now, we did a complete re-implementation of the product, and that's when we started to expand out into other modules.
With over 167 stores and 9,000 staff members across Australia, Officeworks is pretty big and distributed. So how did your staff previously interact with IT before Penny?
Before we introduced Penny, we've got a service desk that operates 24/7. So they would be the primary point of contact for team members. And whenever they needed something, they would call the service desk. The service desk would try and solve the problem. And if they couldn't, then they would escalate into other support teams or partners.
And that's quite a lot of volume for the service desk to take, I can imagine.
Absolutely. So it was a fairly large team that we've managed to reduce as part of this process. So, yeah.
And what prompted you and your team to seek out an AI-based virtual assistant solution for Officeworks?
As a business, we've always been focused on continuous improvement, and some of the initiatives in this space are looking at things about how we reduce numbers of incidents we have, how we increase our first call resolution, how we drive down the cost of an incident, but just as importantly, how we make processes easier and more efficient for our team members. So we wanted to deliver on these things, but didn't want to do it in a detrimental way that was going to impact on the great service that we provide to our customers. So sending team members to a portal to fill out a form was just not going to cut it. Our business was really built on relationships, whether they're real or now in this case virtual. So.
And why did you choose to use the ServiceNow platform for this solution?
As a ServiceNow customer for over 10 years, we use the platform to enhance our processes and automate workflows. So it was just a natural thing for us to look at what can ServiceNow do to help us in this space.
And why did you partner with Thirdera to create Penny?
Thirdera has been a trusted partner of ours for several years. The team works really well with our internal resources, and they take the time to understand our business. They often suggest improvements based on what they've seen about what we're doing or how they know that we operate as a business. And also their culture of collaboration also aligns with our business culture.
As part of Thirdera, I thank you for that feedback. It's very good to hear that from a customer that's been with us for a long time. And I've had the pleasure of seeing a quick demo of Penny, the virtual assistant, last week. Tell us more about Penny, like how it works, and most importantly, how did Penny get its name?
I don't actually know who came up with Penny, but the name Penny is really to give what. So if I go back a step, sorry. So Penny is what we call our version of the Now mobile app. Her name is really to give the app a persona, but the Now mobile app is installed on every single mobile device that our team members in stores carry with them when they're on the shop floor. So every team member's walking around with a mobile device. That device has Penny on it. When you open Penny, Penny has 4 main menus. So as soon as you open up the home screen in Penny, you're taken to the virtual agent. And that virtual agent is really designed to be the first point of contact for the store-based team members, to help them with all sorts of things from incidents to asking for equipment to just getting some general information. So the virtual agent, if they've got an issue with a piece of IT equipment, they go and say, I've got an issue. It asks them what it is, directs them in certain areas, and really delves into what the problem is. And how we did that is we actually went to the service desk and said, show us all the things that someone rings the service desk about. And they gave us a big list of issues the stores call about. And we said to them, what's the things that you do to fix that? And they would rattle off the 3 or 4 things that they'd get the store to check, which was about all they could do. So, check a cable, reboot a system, that sort of stuff. And so we built all of those things that the service desk would normally do into the virtual agent. So Penny prompts the team member to do the things that the service desk would normally ask them. But of course, at any point in time that they get stuck or something's not working, they can always move to a live chat session with the service desk. But we've also been able to redirect other areas of our business as well. So, for instance, we use the facilities management functionality to log issues with electrical, plumbing, that sort of stuff in our stores. And so the virtual agent also then can send you to log an incident with a facilities issue, or it can throw up a knowledge article for you about how to resolve some issue yourself. The other 3 parts of Penny is we have a section which is called My Site, which is a whole bunch of task-based activities that the store team members to do. So on any given day, week or month, the store is expected to do certain activities. Some of them are compliance related and safety issues. Others are just general tasks they need to do in the store. And they are all shown in the app as things they have to do every day. A good example is before a store uses a forklift each day, there's 4 or 5 things they need to check to make sure that it's safe to use. They do those checks in the app, and they basically swipe left to say that they've done those activities. If they don't do the activities on the day they're supposed to be done, it escalates to the store manager to say they haven't been done, and over a period of time, there's further escalations and workflows into the area managers or to our central store operations team. So everybody can see who's compliant with those tasks or not. And some of them tie back to the virtual agent. So there's some tasks that you have to do around print and copy, for instance, an example. Every day you have to clean the print heads and do other bits and pieces on some of the printers. If you haven't done that task for the day and you try to log an issue with that device in Penny, Penny will tell you to go back and do the task that you should have done in the first place before you even try and raise an incident. So there's lots of great stuff in there. The other 2 menus, we have a section called For Me, which is all just a repository of all of the things that you have going on at the moment. So it'll show any incidents you have open, any requests you've made that are still open, any surveys that we've asked you to do, those types of things. And the last menu item is really for managers. So it shows you all of the things similar to my team, for me, where it shows you what the team members that work for you have requested or incidents they've got open, that sort of stuff. So it gives you a bit of management oversight into your team.
Oh, it does sound like Penny covers quite a bit of broad usage in Officeworks itself. Like you've got facilities using it, IT using it, and then it also covers the task list, almost covers the work health and safety component of the workplace as well. And covers managers sort of tasks and activities as well. So I think Penny's got her hands full, and Penny's got quite a few things to kind of work through to make sure Officeworks is a safe place and also productive.
Absolutely. Our HR team is a big user of case management functionality as well. So Penny also helps redirect issues or queries into our HR team as well. So,
wow. And I guess the next question kind of leads on to the return on investment on Penny, like your business goals that has been achieved since Penny. I guess before we get into that, it's like my question would be, what sort of metrics have you been tracking before Penny, and how does those metrics look after Penny's been implemented in Officeworks?
Sure. So Penny has helped us, as a piece of technology, as part of the Officeworks purpose to help make bigger things happen. And it helps deliver on 3 of our core strategies around our team, connecting with our communities, and operational excellence. In the operational excellence space, we look at some of the metrics we look at are around, how many calls are we getting into the service desk? How long are people having to wait for things to be resolved? Some of those things I spoke about earlier around first call resolution, etc. So if you look at what we've measured to date, and a great example of how Penny has helped us is last year it moved over 63,000 interactions to self-service. Wow. Those interactions would otherwise have gone through our service desk. Yeah. And it's actually allowed us to reduce the number of team members we have in the service desk. And just as importantly for those team members, it's given the team members that we didn't need anymore an opportunity to move into other IT functions and further develop their careers. So win-win all round, really.
That's actually a really good success story in terms of the metrics that you've been tracking. With 63,000 interactions that's been tracked. Like what you're saying, it's a significant amount of service desk work there. And I think Penny's done a really good job in Officeworks. And you mentioned facilities and HR using it as well. Could you just expand a bit more in terms of how HR and facilities have actually benefited from this rollout?
Sure. So very similar to the IT side. So traditionally, we would have had some forms available on the service portal that team members can go and request things from HR or report an issue with something broken in the store. We've really used the virtual assistant to really do the same thing. So get rid of those forms, have a more personable conversation type discussion to get to an outcome. But just as importantly for those teams, we're seeing reductions in queries that historically would have been emails going to a shared mailbox. So we're driving down those with knowledge articles and proactive, for want of a better word, shift left type initiatives. So
I see. And I did when I had a look at Penny as well and the Officeworks instance, I did see quite a bit of knowledge articles as well. So do you say that there's a lot of more effort put into knowledge creation on top of making sure Penny works well in providing information to Officeworks staff?
Definitely. So we are leveraging reporting now out of ServiceNow to look at opportunities to drive more knowledge. So we're measuring all of our technology team members on how many knowledge articles have you produced, or how many have been used? How often are those knowledge articles being used by team members in the stores, and really starting to drive some absolute value out of the creation of those knowledge articles and their usage, but also making sure that they're still relevant to the team members. So
yeah, that's really a big task as well in terms of keeping up with knowledge articles and making sure it's relevant and that Penny can link them up together when a user asks. And since that you mentioned there's quite a few sort of activities with Penny, it started with IT, it started with people use it for taskers on in the Officeworks store, HR and facilities use as well. And how long did the idea of Penny take to come to life?
The initial rollout was completed within, I think, 3 months of the idea being tabled. We've done several enhancements since, but it actually started the way we introduced even the virtual assistant to the development team is we actually started putting some jokes in the system and encouraged the developers to add more jokes to it. So basically, Penny would ask you a joke and you would reply and then she would give you the answer. So it really started to get them engaged. I'm pretty sure none of them are on there anymore, but it was certainly,
3 months and look at you guys now and with the amount of iteration sort of work you guys have done, a lot of good enhancements there. And if you guys remember any jokes, do remember to send us through so that we can do a screen capture of it, because I think it'd be good to remember how Penny started. And in terms of creating Penny, what sort of challenges did you and your team experience when starting off with this project itself?
Technically, we had some challenges in a few areas. So initially, we had one massive virtual agent flow. And we had to actually do a lot of rework because we had to break it into small flows because we wanted multiple developers to be able to build at the same time. So we found that if more than one person was in a flow, we just had issues. The way that the tasks were originally created for the store team members to do in that, task section, they were really resource intensive, and we needed to do a lot of rework to make sure that the task creation process was streamlined. So, overnight, every night, basically the system goes and auto generates all of these tasks that need to be done. But we've also got now to the point where our central store operations team can create tasks on the fly now and push them down to the stores as they need them to do them. And also originally around the way that we were designing tasks and tying them back to assets in the store. So the forklift example is a good one where we were using some custom fields to record whether or not a store has a forklift or how many they have and other bits and pieces. We've actually changed the design now to move all of those things into the asset module, and we're tracking them as true assets, which is great from a facilities management point of view as well, because they get great benefit in the maintenance tasks and things that need to happen now as well by linking everything together. So we're seeing some great collaboration now between departments around a common tool set.
And what would you say was the hardest thing implementing AI?
I think initially just getting the development team to think more around how you have natural conversations and to develop using that model. But also then, partly around, it's going to sound a little bit odd, but how we limit what we do. So once we started building in the tool, it was, so many ideas have come through, and sometimes it's hard to say, no, let's focus on these ones first. So part of it is around the hardest part's probably around limiting what you do at any given time.
I see. You're chunking out the work and making sure that it comes through as an output that's actually something deliverable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now's the fun part. What is your favorite thing about Penny?
Probably my favorite thing has to be how it's contributed to our People and Planet 2025 commitments. So in the task management piece, Penny replaced people having to print out every day a list of tasks that they have to do, and they literally had to tick them off and sign that they'd done them. So we've completely replaced that with the tool, and it's removed over 203,000 sheets of paper per year. So, great news story for the environment, and it just, it's part of what we do at Officeworks is about trying to give back to our community and look after the environment. So.
I have to say that's actually really impressive with the amount of paper saving sort of initiative there. It's a big amount of paper being saved with checklists that's been printed out. Everything's digitized and stored somewhere, and that can be referred to later on as well. So I think that what Penny's doing with the planet is actually really, really good with Officeworks.
Absolutely.
So we've mentioned about facilities and HR before. Those are the two business units on top of IT that's using Penny. So do you foresee any other business units that will come on board using Penny as well?
So Penny really supports a mobile first strategy. So as we're seeing a lot of departments now coming along saying we need some sort of case management functionality, can you get rid of our shared mailboxes, etc. So as those departments come along, we're absolutely driving Penny first, but we're also working on 2 other versions of Penny. So one specifically for our supply chain team, and another one for our support office team members. So just really basically having 3 distinct versions of Penny that for our different parts of our business.
That sounds interesting with the different versions of Penny. So I guess the next question kind of leads on to the question I just asked before. So where will Penny go from here?
So some of the things that we're looking at the moment is we're doing integration of the virtual agent component of Penny with our service portal, but also into Microsoft Teams, and we use Workplace by Facebook, so into Workplace as well, because we don't want to limit team members across our business to having to use the mobile app. We really want to leverage the power of the AI and the virtual agent that Penny provides in whichever way team members want to engage with us, to really drive those things. We're also looking at other opportunities that we started to do, particularly in the store environments, etc. So one of the things that we've seen is that we have one piece of equipment in store that no one's ever been able to work out why, but every now and then it stops working. And the only way to fix it is literally to reboot that device. So we've actually started to build things now where through the end user and in Penny, we will actually kick off in the background a PowerShell script to reboot that device, which historically, again, would have come through to the service desk. So just looking at more and more ways to drive that down.
Wow, it sounds like Penny's going to be doing even more things in a bigger scale across Officeworks as well. I think that's going to be an exciting space to kind of keep an eye on for us here. And I guess the last question would be, what would you recommend to organizations that are considering investing on an AI-based virtual assistant solution?
The first thing I'd say is if you're considering it, don't think about it, just do it. It's great, but you need to start small in my mind. So it's really easy to get carried away with what you can do. So deliver on a few key features that provide business value, so that you get a good understanding of the value that you can get, and then expand from that. So just don't go too far too fast. But in our case, Penny's awesome. Everyone loves Penny. Other departments keep asking, can we have more stuff on here? So, when people are asking you for stuff, it just, definitely makes life better.
That's a really good testament to how successful Penny is. And I guess those are wise words as well. Start small and start scaling, and go right into it instead of deliberating whether to get into virtual agents or not. Thank you for your time, Andrew. I've got a very good insight of how Penny works in Officeworks and the history of how Penny came to fruition. And it's been really good being part of the team that has been contributing to Penny in Officeworks. And I really want to thank you for your time that you've taken for today's interview. And I hope to see more of Penny when Penny starts working on different areas of Officeworks.
Absolutely, not a problem. Thank you.